G'day, Steel Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Got a few words I want to say. Just a few words. Sucked in, Bengals, you losers. Sucked in, Bengals, you losers. All off-season, all we heard was the Bengals were going to go Super Bowl. The Bengals were the top team in the AFC North. They were a huge threat. The Bengals haven't beaten a winning team yet. The Bengals have only beaten losing teams like the Raiders, the Browns, the Giants, and someone else who's a loser. Might have been Jags. I don't know. Another loser team. The Bengals have not beaten a team with a winning record. The narrative is, who have the Steelers played yet? You haven't played anyone yet. The Steelers have beaten 5 teams with a winning record. The Steelers have also, beaten the Ravens. We haven't played anyone yet. You haven't played the Bills yet. We don't play the Bills. You haven't played the Eagles yet. We don't play the Eagles yet. By the way, shout out to the Eagles. I hope the Eagles win this game versus the Ravens coming up. That was a really fun game. And better part was we scored 44 points and the Ravens, the Bengals scored 38, which could win games. That can definitely win games, right? Turning down the sound because I'm watching the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Ravens right now. If the Eagles win, then we get a bit more pressure off us for the AFC North. Steelers improved to 9-3. That was a crazy game. First of all, I hope that Calvin Austin is doing well from that injury. He got hit really hard, but he played good football. And that TD to the end zone, Russell Wilson was on fire. Shout out to Pickens, Austin, Jefferson played big. Skowronek played pretty big. Fryermuth played well. Running backs, Najee Harris, the offense, and Warren, they were carving up. 44 points. Doesn't happen by mistake. 44 points. The first time since 2018 they've scored 40 points or something like that, right? And shout out to Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin has never had a non-losing season. So fire Tomlin fans, quiet down. A lot of the fan base last week, they checked out. They saw the Browns loss. We went on into their house, Thursday night football, away game, divisional game. They checked out. They said, you know what? I don't want to support my Steelers anymore because we lost to the Browns and we're a bad team and this, and this. This was the best response you could ever ask for, scoring 44 points. Now, of course, yes, you can't allow 38. But that team, the Joe Burrow Burrows, or whoever they are, the Bungals, Joe Burrow's team, they were on fire. They were carving us up. We were playing a bit of prevent defense, bit of zone defense, and allowing them to score. The flags, I'll get to the flags in a minute, but there were flags in play. There's all these things happening. But the Joe Burrow Bengals tried their hardest in an AFC North shootout. The most points in an NFL game this year, apparently, in 2024, was the Steelers scoring 44, the Bengals scoring 38. So, with some respect to the Bengals, because they played tough. But to the Bengals fans out there, your team sucks. So, with some respect, you're good. At the same time, you're really bad. All I hear in the last 2 weeks is that the Bengals are the best team that are not in the playoffs. And there's a reason why you're not in the playoffs. It's because you've lost 8 games. You need to win games. Hello, Bengal fans. You need to win games to actually get in the playoffs. All I hear from fans and NFL people out there are saying, the Bengals are a scary team. If the Bengals get in the playoffs, they're a scary team. Well, you have to win games first. Do you not? You need to win these games. You're going to beat the tough teams. They have not beaten a team above 500. Mike Tomlin is above 500. He's also above another non-losing season. And that's pretty special. I know we have to win a playoff game. I know we have to win this, and this. But Mike Tomlin is a great coach. He's fantastic. I'm a huge Mike Tomlin supporter. If you don't like that, then stop watching. Because Mike Tomlin did awesome today. 44-38. He has his team ready. He has Wilson ready. He has Cameron Hayward ready. He has all these fellas ready, right? Let's go through some stats just quickly about our team, the Steelers, versus the Bengals, 44-38. Yeah, we should have won by 13. Yeah, we should have won by 17. But we get out of there with a win. So we've had, in the last 4 games in the gauntlet, we beat Washington, beat Baltimore, we beat Cincinnati, and we lost to the Cleveland Browns on a Thursday night football game, which is tough. Very, very tough. I've moved on. Don't care anymore. Russell Wilson had a game today. with big respects to Russell Wilson, 3 TDs, 1 interception, which should not have been an interception because he pulled his face mask down, which should have been a penalty. Right? Sorry, I had something playing in the back. Even guy in the booth, the referee's in the booth, that they should have called a flag on the player. And as Pickens fell down, he tore his helmet right down like that. It shouldn't have been an interception. If anything, it should have been a breakup pass or a contested catch with Pickens. So I don't blame Russell Wilson for that interception. Not at all. Not at all. Right? I saw people tweeting that he was like, oh, maybe it's time to have a conversation about Wilson. No, there's not. He gives you the best chance to win. And I'll talk about Fields later with the Fields, conversion to win the game. Right. So he had 414 yards passing, his second best in his career, 3 TDs, 1 interception, 2 sacks. And by the way, that was sacks that Russell Wilson gave up and said, you know what? I'm not going to make a mistake. I'm going to play smart and not throw it away. Russell Wilson didn't really play stupid football. He was changing plays. He's in such command of the offense. We should feel very lucky to have Russell Wilson as our quarterback to bounce back from the Denver years and go on a run into these playoffs. And it's going to be very different playoff run too. So that might be one of his best games in his career, or at least the last 5 years. 414 yards, 3 TDs, 2 sacks in a hostile environment versus Joe Burrow and their defense, right? Where was Trey Hendrickson? Where was he? Not to be found. Not at all. Najee Harris had a game too. He had 16 carries, rushing 75 yards, 1 TD, 20 longest. Patterson had 16 yards. Warren had 9 yards. But I want to focus on for the running backs, right? The running backs played really awesome in that check down motion where you saw Najee had 6 receptions, target 6 times. Patterson had 3 catches, 3 targets. And Warren had 4. That's 13 times that Russell Wilson checked the ball down to his running backs to get almost, 100 and something yards, check downs. You take what the defense gives you, and that's what they're doing. They're doing screen plays to the running backs, halfbacks, getting Najee the ball in space, and he was running crazy, so was Warren. Warren and Najee played a fantastic role in that sense, and so did Cordell Patterson. Right? Did very well. George Pickens, 74 yards, 1 TD. Frymouth was on fire today too. He looked like Heath Miller out there. Heath looked like that because he was getting open. And yeah, Van Jefferson made 1 big catch for 43. That was awesome. That ball, by the way, the Bengals were lined up on the line of scrimmage. They were lined up, and he saw an all-out blitz. Russell Wilson checked that pass. Next minute, Jefferson runs a 43. Not the fastest guy, but he got the first down, right? Ben Skronik played well too, got 1 for 23, and Calvin Austin, like I said, got the TD. So, and Big Darnell got a catch too. They're getting the pass catchers have about 9 players caught a ball today. Anyways, I do want to focus on before I end this video. The defense, yes, struggling. Secondary, not the best. Tackling some parts. Zone coverage wasn't the best in certain parts. But in a positive, TJ Watt, he had, I think, 2 sacks and a fumble, right? 2 sacks and a fumble. Cameron Hayward had 1 sack and 2 tackles for a loss. Killebrew had 3 big hits on teams. This team can hit. We had Peyton Wilson with a scoop and score. Nick Herbig had the fumble as well. The fumble on Joe Burrow. And he had a sack. So 4 sacks in the day. And Dante Jackson, after Cameron Hayward put his hands up, they played tip drill and Dante Jackson with the pick. So they turned the ball over, 3 or 4 times or 3 times. Defense played pretty good, but definitely got to limit the plays and the scoring for 38. But that's a very high-powered offense that is Joe Burrow. Now, before I end it, my last thing I want to talk about before I do a podcast with Bubba and possibly Shane from Steelers Dynasty Podcast. What was the fucking go with the false starts? The amount of false starts I saw from the Bengals, left tackle, whoever that was insane. I said it in my live, and I was like, this is absolutely a joke. There was a TD where Joe Burrow threw the ball to the end zone to catch back up to be 31-38, where it was a clear false start. And the refs just didn't see it. They didn't call it. And the fact that you had to have a package from the Paramount streaming services or whatever, it was NBC or CBS, whoever was calling the game, The minute that they did that, the false start, you saw a package come up on the screen, and the commentators were talking about that there should have been a flag thrown here, and there was a reason why they didn't. The false starts were absolutely insane. All day, the left tackle was jumping off sides for a full count, a full step backwards every single time. I counted at least 4 or 5. At least 4 or 5 that were false starts. So we had to beat the refs, and we also had to beat the Bengals. The Steelers beat both the refs and the Bengals. There was 19 to 20 penalties thrown in this game. That's going to ruin the game. So that's my last rant for that. Steelers win 44-38. I'll catch you guys soon, very shortly, in about an hour's time or whatever it may be, for another podcast, post-game wrap-up. Celebrate today. Feel good. I'm going to the Winners Pub. Feel good about this win. I know I do. I feel very good. Steelers win 44-38. Sucked in Bengals. You losers.